All right, I am here with.
BraxtonCurtis.
Hey, Braxton. What's the name of your podcast?
It's Business as You. And
All right.
Business as You is completely different than every other entrepreneur podcast out there because most entrepreneurial podcasts, I'd even venture to say all podcasts that are like this, focus on real estate agents and bankers and money-hungry thing, cryptocurrency, and they're not teaching you how to take your passion project and turn it into a profession. And that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to talk to podcasters, videographers, photographers, anybody that loves what they do and turn that into their profession. So I do very little interviews. I really document my journey, and where I bring a lot of value is every single morning at 4 a.m. I get up and record a 5-minute daily piece of content telling you exactly what I'm doing today and what I did yesterday to show all the listeners that, look, I'm up doing it too. And then right after that, I go to work for 10 hours and I come home and I start over again. And nobody is documenting their journey. They're only highlighting the guests that they look up to, but most often those guests are so unrelatable, so unobtainable, where they say things like, oh, the first thing I did was spend $30,000 on a piece of real estate. But what about the 500 steps it took to get that $30,000? Nobody ever talks about that. So that's what I'm here to do.
Yeah, so I know one of the super important elements to that is this idea of emotional courage. Putting yourself outside of your comfort zone, really doing something that you have a passion for. Maybe you have a fear of doing it, though, because you haven't done anything like that before. And, so there's, things like imposter syndrome that may kind of come into play. How have you experienced that or coached people or talked to people through that?
So actually, my business podcast started out as every other entrepreneurial podcast. Hour-long interviews, chopped up, very little editing. And I noticed that I was creating that imposter syndrome for myself. So how did I combat that? I started getting up every single morning and forcing myself to record, which is what my podcast is that's all I'm doing now, is I'm only doing solo shows with an interview if it's right. But to battle that imposter syndrome, man, you just have to get out there and do it. And I tell people the same thing every day. You don't like talking on a microphone? Go talk on a microphone every day for 30 days. You'll get over it.
And then what about this idea of chasing perfection? I know, I've talked to a lot of people that have, they feel like they need to just have this concept completely worked out, all of the ideas, everything figured out before they are going in to launch something. So, I highly advise people away from that. I mean, what's been your experience, at least maybe for yourself or what you've encountered with, just conversations around this idea of chasing perfection?
Yeah, I did it. It doesn't work. The best thing you can do for yourself, even if you don't think you're ready, is just to start doing it and be consistent at it. If you want to do something like come to PodFest and talk to people like you, start recording yourself and just keep going. Perfection is never going to happen. You can always add more and more and more, but does that really make things better? No. You can't let perfect get in the way of good. Just start creating and you'll get there.
All right, so give me an idea in your journey where some of the lows and maybe some of the highs have been. What's that journey look like for you?
Oh, man. So let's start with a positive. I met this guy on Facebook named Kevin Schmidlin through Grow the Show, and I decided to invest in myself and invest into his program to really bring myself up.
The Grow the Show Accelerator program.
Show Accelerator program. That was the most positive thing I could have done for myself. And what I tell everybody, get yourself a mentor. Get yourself a bunch of people in your corner that are pushing you.
I agree with that, and I agree with the Grow the Show Accelerator program as well. Yeah, good job, Kevin.
But some of the negatives is I was chasing that perfection at first. I was too afraid to record. I was too afraid to post something without a logo and show notes and all this, and I wasted so much time putting this all together when I should have just be pressing record and promoting myself. But that's why people like Kevin are so important, and I'm sure people like you as well. We push each other to do things. That's what we're here to do. Do things. We're not here to sit on the couch and watch Netflix. We're here to follow our passion projects.
Absolutely. And, in terms of, growing and your experience with Grow the Show, what does growth look like for you? Like, what are the goals that you're setting out to achieve with the work that you're doing?
So I am only successful when my listeners become successful. That's plain and simple. I don't care about money or anything like that. If what I'm doing is making an impact and also getting other passioneers to get up at 4 a.m. to work on their passion project, then I'm successful. And as of now, we're doing that.
Yeah, I love that. Great answer. And that's a good segue into my assertion here that you have to be rich to make it in podcasting. What do you think about that?
It's just not true. The most powerful tool that we all have is right here. You can record a podcast, create graphics, do everything from your phone. You don't have to be rich. You just have to have a smartphone, which, I mean, that might be rich to some people, but any recording device, any conversation you have, I just bought mobile microphones for $30. You don't have to be rich. You just have to be determined.
Awesome. Hey, thanks for stopping by. It's been awesome to speak with you, Braxton. Good luck, man.